Hello again, everybody, and here we have Big Ears himself, the magnificent little leopard, son of Tumba, aka Bigglesworth. Isn't he wonderful? Hi, little fella. It's been so long since I saw you. And nobody else wants to come to the sighting. It's wonderful. Hosanna is obviously the sort of Tom Cruise of the leopard world, and this leopard a more refined taste, perhaps a, I don't know, what would we say? An up-and-coming young actor, young character. Now, apparently there is some confusion, not about this leopard, but about another leopard called Chitwa. And there's some confusion over how to say it. Well, Chitwa means scared, and Chava is spelt C-H-A-V-A. There may be an extra H in there somewhere, like next to the V, I'm not sure. But it means afraid or scared, and so Chitwa is pronounced K-U-C, or was pronounced Chitwa. But where the confusion comes in is that the V and the B are often very similar sounding. And so you wouldn't say Chitwa if you were speaking Shangaan, you'd say Chitwa. And you don't actually say V, you just kind of slightly say it. So it sounds a little bit like there's a W in there, but also a B. So you don't say Chitwa or Chitwa, you say Chitwa. So that's why some people are confused about the spelling. Does that make sense, Kirsten? Are you satisfied with that? Thank goodness she says she's satisfied with it. What a relief. Isn't he a regal little fellow? But he does have outlandishly sized ears, doesn't he? He looks fairly, he doesn't look very cheerful, does he? Looks mildly irritated. Emma, you want to know what Tumba's name means? It means Bigglesworth. No, Emma, it doesn't mean Bigglesworth. Bigglesworth is a made-up name. It means rock. He was born on a rock or boulder, or spent much of his very formative, shall we say, weeks on a rock right near the Chitwa camp. And it's T-H-A-M-B-A, I think. Is there an H there? There might not be. He's got very large feet and very large ears. Alright, now he's got a very interesting spot pattern. I would call him a 2-4 male. If you look there, you can see those two spots above his whisker line. One looks like two spots that are joined, and then a single one on its own. See that above the whisker line? That's beautiful. So that's 2 there. I wouldn't say that was 3, I'd call that 2. And then if he looks the other side, you'll see that he's got 4. 3 in a line and 1 on top. Judy, you said eye colour seems to be changing. Well, that's totally normal. Leopards generally have very bluish or bluish tinged eyes when they're born, and then they do turn this greener colour. So yes, I would agree that his eyes are changing colour. There we can see the spot pattern on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're right, the light will make a difference to that as well. So he is now born in July of 2016, 17 months old, slightly younger than Hosanna, and both of them will inevitably disperse from this area if they get to the stage that they're able to. In other words, if they are become independent and are, well, still alive, not to put too fine a point on it. Anything special? There's something about this little fellow I really find most appealing. Possibly his his large ears. I'm not making that up, am I, Viam? I mean, he does have large ears, don't you think?
Yes. I pulled out of the lock with fun. It's an open lock.
Yeah, me too. I'm also, a lot of you saying you're glad he hasn't grown out of his ears. I am as well. His ears seem to be keeping pace with his general development. It's a good time for him now to be learning to be independent. He's had to go independent pretty early. But it's a good time for him because while he may well still share a meal with his mother, he I mean, it's a good time because there are lots of impala lambs around, but I'm just looking at his very stern face. Don't you think he looks serious? He takes himself very seriously, does young Tumba? Yes, Viam says he's much more intelligent, he thinks, than Hosanna. He looks like he's about to move a chess piece, after some serious consideration. Whereas Hosanna's got a much more happy-go-lucky look about his face. This guy is not here for a haircut. He's not here to tell jokes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really do think he looks much more serious. I didn't, but I heard about it. Rebecca, you said it. I see the sighting where Tumba, Hosanna and Tingana were sharing a kill together. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. And you want to know my thoughts? Well, I mean, the most obvious thought is, of course, that both of them are Tingana's sons. Somehow he recognizes that. They were born in his territory, so, there's no real reason he shouldn't think that. Certainly he's mated with their mothers. And so that's the most obvious explanation. The fact that they tolerated each other, I think, is probably just a function of the fact that they haven't hit puberty yet, or, they're just about to. And, the fact that Tingana tolerated them in that closer proximity to his kill, I think, is very interesting. Now, I mean, 2 days ago, we had an amazing sight of Tingana and Hosanna trying desperately to make friends with his father and being kind of growled at and hissed at. But he was undeterred, was the young Hosanna. And so there clearly is some form of recognition. There clearly some sort of kin recognition, I think, between these leopards. So that's why I did it. I'm really sad not to have seen that 3 male leopard sighting. I mean, that is quite something. He's a very sleepy, serious fellow. He's been considering all sorts of complicated problems during the day. The roundness of the earth, whether or not the earth moves around the sun or the sun moves around the earth. Deborah, yes, you say you've never noticed whiskers on a leopard before around their cheeks. Leopards have the longest whiskers of any cat that I know of. They really are much longer than any other that I've seen. And they're there, of course, to send sensory messages to the cat's brain. And the follicles at the base of them are packed full of nerves. Look at feel vibrations is the largest reason that they have them, and that's what transfers to the brain. But I mean, vibrations could be sound. Apparently they can also do things like tell you about the size and shape and speed of nearby objects. I mean, I beggars belief as to how that happens. So if I was to fling a cricket ball at young Tumba here, presumably his whiskers would help him avoid being smacked in the face by it. I think it also helps at night, of course, when they can feel vibrations. Apparently some animals, I'm just actually looking at an article here on whiskers, some of them will use them almost like noses, really, to locate food. That's not, excuse me, rats, seals and walruses, apparently. Anyway, all the sun's come out on him now and made him look rather spectacular.
And Harley making his way, hoping to replace one of the double M stations. When Harley gets
Sorry about the game drive radio, there really is nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid.
West of Greenthorn on double M boundary on the net side of the 5 rake.
Brenda, you're wondering about whether or not he will feel his rank has changed. You know, with the arrival of the new ones, I think... Does he realise? Well, I suppose he would. I mean, whether he registers it as rank or not, I don't know. Probably not. But he knows something's changed because his mother's not feeding him anymore, and I suspect any time he goes anywhere near her, she shouts at him and tells him to go away. So from that point of view, I'm sure he does feel like something has changed. But whether he registers that as a change in rank or not, no, I don't think so. I was just drinking some water there to wet my whistle. Getting evil grins from Brent Lear Smith's brother. I think I shall have to take a picture of him. My camera doesn't like him. Oh, there we go. I've got him. What can only be described. Well, I'm not going to describe the grin he gave me. Oh, look at him. Now, it's a very good question, LJK. You say, how do we concentrate with a game drive radio in our ears? It can be very difficult at a busy sighting. So if you're at a wild dog sighting or a leopard sighting like this, and there are lots of people trying to get here, it can be extremely difficult. But, you know, and if, for example, the final control is also busy, you'll have two people talking into your ear at the same time, and then it can be very difficult to understand what's going on. But, you know, the human brain is remarkable. When I started, you'll notice that with some of the newer presenters, they will, when the radio starts to go, they stop speaking entirely. And slowly that changes, and their brains adjust and allow them to be able to listen and speak at the same time. Certainly when I began, I couldn't speak while I was being spoken to. It was almost impossible. And while I'm still not an expert at it, you just get used to it. You learn to sort of shut one out and listen to what's relevant and then stop listening and keep talking. It's just practice. I think anyone can do it. just with a bit of time. Now the game drive radio can be an absolute nightmare. Isn't he lovely? I keep saying that, I won't say it again, I promise. I, like most people, have never seen a leopard that I've said, "Ooh, that is an ugly leopard." That's not actually true. What the first time I saw Karula, I described her. What did I describe her as? I think I said she had a bit of a that's right, I said she was pug-faced. And my goodness, there was a great backlash from regular Safari Live viewers. They were utterly scandalised that I had described the Queen of Djuma as such. You know, he's a very serious fellow. He's not here for jokes. He's also very tired. He's enjoying the feeling of the sun. I suspect the temperature's dropped slightly now, probably to around 28, 82. Oh, SARS is 32 and 89, which I don't believe. Look at him nearly falling over as he drops off. Apparently he looks like me. Kirsten, in what way does he look like me? Is that what I look like when I fall asleep at my desk? Yes, I have been known to drop off at my desk or in meetings from time to time. Ooh. Naturally, I missed all of that with my illegal camera device. Now, I imagine that he will sit here for much of the rest of the afternoon. There are actually some impala moving slowly towards us and towards him. They look like a little bachelor herd, though, so I'm not sure that there are any youngsters that he could have a go at. With his whiskers? Churanjis, you're saying, did Tingana mate with his daughter Thandi? Thandi's not Tingana's daughter as far as I'm aware. Is she? She's about the same age. Yeah, no, I don't think Thandi is Shadow's always... Shadow's... You know what, Shadow and... I mean, the answer is basically yes. If it would be possible if they were related, but they're not. The Shadow and Thandi were born to their grandfather, as far as I remember. So Karula mated with her father to produce Shadow and Thandi. I think that's what happened, which is entirely normal out here. So don't be scandalised by that if you are new to this sort of discussion. And Tingana, as far as I'm aware, is now 10. He might be 10 this year. Alrighty. Now, Noelle has been tracking a leopard. Now, she hasn't managed to find a leopard, but she has managed to find something much slower than that. Ha 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 ha. Have a guess what it is. Right, we've got a very interesting situation here. Two side-striped jackals have spotted the leopard. There we go. We've got them both in one shot there. Now, what's interesting here is that these are the most mangy jackals I have ever seen. Listen to that. A leopard will eat a jackal if it can catch it. I wouldn't suggest eating that jackal. What a noise. Look how mangy it is, poor fellow. Its partner's just behind us, looking like a rat. What a fascinating sound. And they just look like domestic variety dogs, don't they? But they're not. They're They're side-striped jackals. Oh, shame. They've got such dreadful mange. Let me move a bit, Vimpy. There are impala all over this place. Look at the other one there on the... Here comes the leopard. I think you might want to prepare a Facebook Live here, Kirsten. Isn't that a sad thing to see? Here comes the other one, following. The leopard's about to come out. I think let's go live straight away, Kirst. There's the leopard now on the edge. He's running somewhere. I'm not sure why. He's now out in the open, which means that the impala are not going to see him. Something has attracted his attention. He's being chased by the mangiest jackal in history. I mean, if I didn't know it was a jackal, I'd swear blind it was a domestic dog that was really struggling to make a living out here. Oh, that poor creature. That is very sad. I think, Kirst, let's not do Facebook Live now. He seems to be heading towards the aircraft hangar. I'm really glad the leopard left that mangy jackal alone. Simply because I can't believe it'd be very healthy for him to touch something as manged as that. He's going straight towards the aircraft hangar. Suddenly he got up from the termite mound and just ran. He's going into the aircraft hangar. We can't get through here. Hang on, let me go around the other side. I think he's going in. He'll see if he can catch himself a plane. Oh. He's gone around the other side. Let's keep going. There's a road here we'll take. I'm going to leave that jackal. I don't want to see it again. Poor thing. That really is dreadfully sad. Here he is. Bit of a quarry here. There he is. Fascinating. I don't know why he got up from where he was sitting and then he ran down this way. From being completely asleep to fully mobile in less than a second. I'm just going to ask Dylan if someone else is trying to come here. Dylan, is there somebody waiting to get in here? Is there someone waiting to get in here? Is there someone waiting to get in here? We're okay. We're going to stay and follow young Tumba. Isn't that exciting? Oh, what a day we've had with him. Up he goes. Limber. Let's try and catch up with him. We might lose him here if we can't get around quickly. Alrighty. Let's try and get in here. Ooh wee. I think we can do it. Hold on, Wumpy. Hold on tight. There he is. And I know that many of you are still commenting on that poor jackal. He's just a leopard still through there. That really is sad. I mean, yeah, a few years ago I think the strategy would have just been to shoot them and, you know, kind of put them out of their misery, but they might survive. And so, as painful as it is, okay, this is going to make a lot of noise, I'm sorry, this is Strychnos bush. But as painful as it is to look at the jackals like that, there really is, you know, a chance they could survive, and so we just need to leave them be and hope for the best. Can you see the leopard, Wim? He went through there. There are impala there. Ooh, he's right here somewhere. And there are impala right here as well. They're not alarming. They haven't seen him. This is very exciting. Where is he? You see, if he's gone to ground now, maybe he's stalking. We could be about to see something quite exceptional. Of course, he could have just headed on through. But I'm sure they would have seen him. You got him? He was going down this little game path. Impala have no idea. Well, that's interesting, Lady Starfire. You say, well, predators leave diseased animals alone. I don't know. I can hear some birds alarming up ahead. You know, I imagine they may well. But I cannot see this leopard. Do you think that cheetah plains car's got him? Unless he's gone onto the road here. Oh, those impala looked way too chilled. Gosh, I tell you, the experience of driving around here in the bush is far different from that of driving around in the Sabi, at least in the Mara. Yeah, I think he's here. There's a waterbuck running away from him. Alrighty. Oh no, there he is on the termite mound. Shall we go and look at him, Kirsten, or do you want to go to Noella? Okay, we'll stay with us. Let's go up in fact, should we get the other side of the sun? He likes a termite mound, this leopard. Justin, that's an interesting question. You say, what's the funniest thing I've ever seen a leopard do? I don't know. I seem to remember laughing often at leopards, actually. Well, the funniest thing I've ever seen a leopard do. What about you, Vim? I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen them do some amazing things, but funny, as in ha-ha, I'm not sure. Yes, Tingana fell out of a tree. Yeah, I think that must have been pretty good too. Can you see him there? Is that fun? Right, we'll just stop and look at him here. I think he'll turn around eventually. I might actually just move forward so that I can get out of the way for this vehicle. We'll go around the other side. There's a lot of bush here. A lot of thick bush. Alright. Alrighty, let's head across to Noel while I reposition the car. We'll see you shortly. I will not sing a song just yet. We're sitting with Thamba the leopard. There are some bushbuck alarming at him. He's done a full circle. He's come back to the other side of the... and you can't get railway line out of my mind. The other side of the airstrip. He looks hungry, as Viam has pointed out, and I'm not sure why he's not making a greater effort to conceal himself. There is masses to eat around here. Now he's walking back to the domain of those jackals. Now, leopards will absolutely eat other predators. They do so probably more than any other cat species. But really, of all the things he could eat around here, those two mangy jackals surely must be the two worst choices he could make. This is exactly where they were. One of them skedaddled up the other side of the airstrip. Look at him. Lily, you're just 6 years old and you say, why do leopards alarm call? At least why do birds alarm call at leopards when leopards don't eat birds? Lily, leopards will eat birds, definitely. Often. Especially young leopards like this who get very hungry because their mothers don't feed them anymore. So they will certainly eat birds if they can. Can you hear that? It's a nyala or a kudu calling. I think it's a nyala. He's making absolutely no effort to conceal himself whatsoever. Flicks his tail up in that sort of peace posture. But normally I've only seen them do it with birds alarming. Just wandering around hither and yon. The jackals are there again. He's not making any attempt to try and chase them. They're just making that dreadful, mournful alarm calling sounds. Horrid. Joy, you're wondering if there are many side-striped jackal at Djuma. No, there aren't. They're not common. Nor the black-backed variety. Oh, he's found something under that bush. That's interesting. What's he doing there? Just get up on top here. He's right in the middle there. Oh, shame. That is really horrid. It makes me feel quite nauseous. Steffi, you want to know how animals get mange? They get it from each other. And so he must have come into contact with a mangy creature, possibly a mongoose, possibly a duiker or something like that. Then, you know, one of them's given it, they've given it to each other somehow and probably reinfected each other continuously. It really is horrid, isn't it? But he might survive, and so it's best to just leave him be. Mange is a naturally occurring disease. And one of the things you can say for this mangy jackal is that what it is not short of While it may be short on looks, short on health and short on fur, it ain't short on guts. It's telling that leopard exactly what it thinks, trotting right up behind it. It's interesting, you don't normally see an animal that unhealthy unless it is either severely diseased or domestic. You'll find domestic animals, quite often abused domestic animals, that look like that. But in the wild, they very seldom look like that. They normally are much healthier. No, I don't think it would, Beard. You say, would a flea collar stop the mites that cause mange? No, I don't think so. Dogs can still get mange. But, I mean, maybe they don't have flea collars. I don't think so. I think you have to treat it with you treat it with a skin treatment, a specialized kind of mange skin treatment. That is treatable. But we try, this will eventually get us into the debate about whether or not we should be interfering or not. And I think we've had that debate ad nauseum. Let's just get out of this rather tricky spot. That Cheetah Plains vehicle has placed itself so skillfully every single time while we've been knocking through the bushes. I don't think he's run over so much as a small twig, and he's maintained sight of the leopard. He's done a great job. You just move. We're going to go around the side of them here. There he comes. Viam was just saying this is the same tree that Tingana and Horsana and he were in. Now he's looking with some intent towards the impala that are crossing. And there's a baby one there. Ooh. Now we have some interest. There is a little one in there, just walking behind. And another one now trotting across the airstrip. Look at him keeping now. Suddenly he's interested in concealing himself. Now that's right up his street. Look at him. He's hungry. He's licking his chops. What do you think, boy? Do you think there's something there you might be able to catch? I think so. Just back into the bush there. Oh, well, that's going to really ruin his night. The impala are not even looking towards the jackal. Sean actually wondered exactly the same thing. The leopard is now on the way. He's stalking. Sean, you say, could they have been defending a den? Yes, it is entirely possible that they were defending a den. I mean, for pups to survive with parents that sick is unlikely. But it's not impossible. He's running up here. He's running straight towards the impala. There is a clearing between him and them, however. We're going to keep our distance from him. Yeah, I can still see him there. There he is. Straight through there. You can just see his tail sticking up. Yeah, let's go live. Let's move. I think leave it now, Kirst, unless it's coming up. Sorry, we're not going to go live to Facebook because I don't think that he's in a position to kill. The impala skedaddled over the edge of the hill there. We'll just keep watching him though. He's definitely interested. He might just wait for nightfall, of course. There he is. He's watching those impala. Can you see him there, Vim? Look how beautifully coloured he is. Jackal keeps shouting at him. And now suddenly his body language has changed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but he's dropping much closer down towards the ground. He's moving with a purpose. He's not kind of just wandering from bush to bush aimlessly. Now he's going from cover to cover. Now those impala will spot him at this distance. If he breaks cover now and doesn't manage to get behind some bushes, they will spot him. But he's also very much aware as to whether they've turned round or whether they're facing this direction or not. And they are obviously facing this direction, some of them. Using the termite mound for vantage, which is precisely what he would have done. But as the sun goes down, so his interest in hunting will become that much higher. Here he comes, he's just popping out now. Alright everybody, welcome to those of you who've just joined us on social media, whatever platform that happens to be. We're sitting here with a young male leopard, 17 months old. He's just gone behind a bush there, and there are a whole heap of impala up ahead. He is on the hunt. His chances are slim, given that they're still light, and there's not a lot of cover between him and the impala. There he is. Right, now we're apparently just having a bit of a disaster with our social media broadcast, but we're still with you, enjoying Tumba's hunting efforts here. And they haven't seen him. He's in the open. Now look at him. He's just slinking down. Now he's using the topography for cover, and he's having a little bit of a roll. He may have found some dung there that he's rolling in. Look how he's put his enormous ears down. See how he's flapped them down? Now he's lifting his head up, but you can see how he's put the ears down, considering his next move very carefully. He is, of course, a very serious leopard, as we've seen today. Now, they can demonstrate a remarkable patience. He could very easily lie here until it's dark. Impala moving off. You can hear the swallows above us. And swifts as well, actually. In fact, they're swifts, they're not swallows. Beautiful. Leopard is still there, don't worry, while we look at the swifts. Impala still there. Always looking slightly suspicious that something might be trying to eat them. There are also some guinea fowl between the impala and Tumba. And if that guinea fowl gets sight of the leopard, he will start making that ridiculous loud call. And those other vehicles, of course, just enjoying Tumba as much as we are. Wondering if he is going to get on and go hunting. And you can see precisely why it is at this time of the year, this time of the day, animals start to make their way up onto these clearings. As the light fades, of course, this is precisely what happens. Cats come out in search of something nice to eat.
Thanks, got you back west.
We really have been extremely lucky to spend this amount of time with this leopard today. That we've not been thrown out of the sighting is fantastic. He doesn't look like he's going... Ooh, as I was saying, doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. Now, the reason he perked up like that is that the leopards the impala put their heads down and started to graze. You say this is fascinating to watch. Yes, it is, isn't it? It is a magnificently exciting thing to be watching, and this is the best time of the day to be doing it. As the sun goes down, that lovely feeling that comes over the wild at this time of the day. I'm going to try and move around to the other side, simply because those vehicles are between the sunset and us. And I don't think that that is best for our view. It doesn't make any difference to Tumba, he couldn't care less. We'll get a better view of him. I was quite hoping to have him and the sunset in the background, but the other cars are in the way, and that's not their fault. There's no reason they shouldn't be where they are. Wumpy, I'll give you a two-shot, a world-beating two-shot of a leopard and a squirrel. Well, I'm not going to get you a two-shot, actually. See the squirrel on the termite mound there? I'll just quickly show you the squirrel. He doesn't actually seem to have... Look, he's eating a marula nut. Isn't that sweet? He doesn't seem to have noticed the leopard. He'd almost certainly be alarm calling if he had. The leopard noticed him. All right, let's move closer in. He's stalking the squirrel. That squirrel has not seen him yet, fascinated as it is by its little nut. Can't believe it. The leopard is now watching the squirrel. Minjani kwala. Ukarele. I'm just saying hello to the tracker on the other vehicle. That is very sweet, actually. Maybe let's move around the other side, Wumpy. What do you think? Neck looks a little bit like it may have been bitten, doesn't it? It's quite interesting. Maybe he's just ruffled it against some bushes. Impala still feeding, same place, the other side of the termite mound. What a regal fellow he is, even though he does have outlandishly sized ears. He is the picture of patience, isn't he? He's not a piece of frustration about him. Neat, very calm, very considered, I think, in all his movements. He's still watching those impala. The youngsters and mothers have moved off quite a distance now. I can't see them anymore. But there's still a male, or 2 or 3 big males behind another termite mound that he's looking at. But isn't it amazing how he somehow knows that this light will give him away? And that he must wait for darkness. Oh, look at him. Alrighty, let's sit here for a bit longer, see what he does. We don't have too much time left on the drive. While we do that, let's go and find out how Noel's search for Tingana went. Yes, indeed, we do have an actual leopard, the same leopard. Marvellous leopard, Tumba the leopard. There he is. Still looking hopefully towards the impala, which are getting further and further. Oh no, some of them are coming out onto the airstrip now. Do you see them, Wumpy? There they are. Back's turned to him. How they haven't seen him, I'm really quite confused about. Light is fading, but it's certainly nowhere near dark enough for him to just sort of saunter up to them and whack one, as it were, as they say in, well, mafia circles. He is hungry, his belly is empty, and I think that's probably why he's being this patient. I'll tell you that Wasana is still in the same place. No one's with him. He's under a bush, eating his supper. I don't think we need to go anywhere from here. I think we'll stay right where we are. Many of you making comments about how beautiful he is. Possibly those of you who don't think he's beautiful are just too afraid to say so. Does anyone think he isn't beautiful? If you don't think he's beautiful, I would caution against mentioning it on social media. It's likely you'll have to move house, find another country to live in. me drinking some water. I'm sorry, I have a dry throat. All right, come on, get up and do something now. Come on, fellow. Those impala are going to kill themselves. I don't see any lambs within sort of striking distance. Let me train my binoculars on them. No, none of them looking this direction though. Many with their backs turned to him. I mean, but for the inconvenience of this clearing between them and him, I suspect he'd be in business. Oh, look, he's put his head down because one of them has come out into the open. See how he's flattened his ears? And now they're coming up again, like little wings. Yes, that's who I'm talking about. Wingnut, you're asking about his whiskers, if there's a... Yeah, I think you're asking if there is a... some sort of space that he would need them for to fit through. Is that correct? Oh, I see. You say, can he fit through any space that his whiskers can fit through? Yes, I imagine he probably could. Yeah. Oh, I think he's definitely going to wait for the darkness to fall, I'm afraid. But what an afternoon we've had with him, hey? Very, very special indeed. How's it going?
Hardy, hardy.
Good, thanks.
Stand by. Yeah, well, Hardy, was that Thamba o'clock? No, it's a wildlife farmer there. Okay, copy, no name. Yeah, no, I don't remember. Yeah, but just go straight to the estimate. Look at your Western
I'm just going to have to quickly talk on the radio.
was curious to the Mahala. Copy, thank you. Ciao.
Ndikumbuli. Ndakumbula for next time. Just come straight along the airstrip. He's just at the northern end of those clearings, heading towards the top. Static on a termite mound. 2 stations here now.
Copy. Can join you, please?
Affirmative. Just come along the strip. Alrighty. You see that fellow didn't know who I was there, Vim. He was asked on the radio, who did you leave the leopard with? And he said, I don't know, some guy from Wild Earth. He didn't know my name. Now there is a squirrel alarm calling. That's the other side of this clearing. Not looking at Tumba, I don't think. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Alright, Noel's still on the search. I know that this can be a little bit tiresome from a patient's point of view. We're going to wait right here with Tumba. You head across and see how Noel's doing. Lovely Tumba has not moved 1 inch since you last saw me. Well, not since you last saw me, since you last saw him. There he is, still looking at his impala, hoping they'll come out into the open. Our beard, you say, have I ever had a surprise encounter with a leopard? I'd say most of my encounters with leopards have been surprise encounters. The first one, or the one that comes to mind most obviously, is the one we had with Shongile on foot, Gendre and Rexon and I. And we were looking around a spot where Karula had had a kill, and we couldn't, Hosanna was off somewhere else, and Karula was off somewhere else, and we did a whole segment about, I don't know, the tree that they'd put. We were in, and we were on foot knocking about, and then Rexon said, hang on, she's looking at us, she's right there. And we turned round, and there was this little leopard sitting 20 meters from us, and the best part of it was that she came closer walked closer, climbed a tree right above us, and sat in the tree watching us. It was so special and so surprising. I'd never seen that before. Often young leopards will just sit when you're on foot with them, and they don't react too much. But to have displayed that level of curiosity was just profound. The other time, I tell you when I had a real surprise and quite a big scare, was when I was, a long time ago, I was training a fellow at Angama where I used to work, and there was a funny beaten up old bush camp near the main camp, and we walked up there one day just to have a look inside. We popped our heads onto the wooden platform there, and in the corner there were 3 tiny little leopard cubs, tiny little things, and Mum wasn't there, but there was only one entrance to this place, and the thought of being caught by the leopardess while looking at her young cubs as she came up the other way was utterly terrifying, so we extracted very quickly. It was so unexpected. And there's another wonderful time I had when I was sitting in the Umluamati drainage, contemplating the day. I'd taken a deck chair out and I was sitting there at a book. I'd fallen asleep with the book on my lap, sitting in the shade. It was a hot summer's day, around about this time last year actually. And in fact it was in January, I think it was in the middle of the TV show. And I suddenly woke up, the hairs on the back of my neck standing up, opened my eyes, and sitting in front of me, about, say, 20 feet away, was Karula, just looking. And as I opened my eyes, she stood up and walked off up onto the bank, and I didn't see her again for the next little while. So lots of surprising and very special, profound leopard experiences I've had. And you'll notice all of those on foot, not in vehicles. Or in the last case, I was on my bottom, not on foot at all. Now, we're not going to sit with him after the end of the drive. I think he's young and hungry enough for us to want to leave him unhindered by our presence. And so we're not going to wait for him to get up and go and hunt something. We'll leave him at the end of the drive and thank him very kindly for the efforts that he has put in on our behalf. So nice. I mean, after yesterday's drive, Seb and I managed to find 2 hairs of one hippopotamus sticking out of the water. This has been a really remarkably good return, I'd say. Wouldn't you say, Vim? Do you think it's you? Probably is, isn't it? It's the luck you bring. He certainly doesn't look like he's about to get up and go hunting anytime soon. But it would not surprise me if we came down here tomorrow morning to find a young impala lamb draped in this tree. Now, Ruth, you say, are there going to be any tent segments anytime soon? Ruth, the tent for the next TV shows has been retired. We're going to try something new this time round, and we're going to host the show from a vehicle. We're not sure which vehicle just yet, but on the vehicle will be Sebastian flying the drone. Fergus will be shooting. We will have the microscope. It will be handheld, so I can get off the car and use it there. And we'll probably park ourselves at Chitwa Dam, and so we can take advantage of being out in the wild while at the same time hosting the show in a tent-like fashion. We won't have any of the bits and pieces that we had in the tent, but we're going to try something new for the Big Cat Week show, which is of course on the 15th of December our time. So the 14th your time. I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern time. In fact, it is. It's 10 p.m. Eastern time on the 14th of December. during Nat Geo Wild's Big Cat Week. So we'll see how that works. I might fall into the dam. Sebastian might cut my left ear off with the drone. We don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it works. But there will be the microscope. There will be the rover, Ronald, my old pal. There will be the drone. And I will have the ability, Fergus should also have the ability to get off the car with the camera. So we will be as mobile as we were in the tent, just with a somewhat more panoramic view. Kruger guy, you say it sounds exciting. I think it sounds exciting. I think it also sounds quite terrifying. But we'll see what happens. It's always good to try new things, isn't it? He's looking a little bit irritated there. He's looking at the car next to us. One of the ladies has got very ash blonde white hair. I wonder if he's not perhaps more a fan of natural coloured hair or something. I don't know. All right, everybody. That is going to be it from here. Thank you, Vim.